Welcome to the Visualize Meditations podcast, hosted by your friend Sasha Patil, a Chopra certified meditation teacher. The first step to creating the life of your dreams is to create a clear and compelling vision for what you want for the future. I'll be guiding you on visualization meditation so you can get clear on your deepest desires. Let's get started so you can turn your vision into a reality. Hi, hello. Welcome back to another episode of the Visualize Meditations podcast. It's your gal pal Sasha. What is going on? Let me paint the scene for you right now. I am currently in South Utah, about an hour outside of Zion National Park. Why am I here? I'm here because my therapist prescribed me some time of solitude. I have not been by myself for longer than 3 days since the beginning of the year. And even if you go past that, I don't think I've been alone for a long time. Maybe years at this point, like more than 3-4 days, okay? And especially with this breakup and with starting over, I've been bouncing from place to place, seeing people to people, and it's hard to get in touch with who you are and get in touch with yourself when you're constantly being surrounded by external influences, both substances and people. So I'm taking 10 days of solitude outside of Zion. I'm basically working, so I'm still working. I'm still getting up early, working for my 9 to 5. In the afternoons, I'm going and hiking and seeing this beautiful place, and then I'm coming back in the evenings and also working, which is it complete solitude if I'm still working? Maybe, maybe not. To be determined. But at the same time, like, we do what we can, right? And still spending some time in reflection. So I think I'm going to do a compilation of what I'm reflecting on through these days. I'm here for 10 days, and so far, I got here. Yesterday was my first full day. And today is my second full day, and I had therapy today, and I feel like I'm learning a lot. It's the perfect storm because I am not on any substances. I'm going to be doing these 10 days completely sober without a substance in my body. I am by myself. I'm still working. I'm on my period, which is the best time for reflection. And so far, some realizations I've had is I've been emotionally pretty down since leaving Tampa. After Tampa, I flew to Phoenix. I spent a handful of days with my dad, and then flew to New Orleans, and I was at Mardi Gras with my 2 girlfriends, and now I've flown here, spent a night in Vegas, got up, hung out in Vegas for a couple hours, went shopping, splurged a little, and then drove out here. And I've really been enjoying my own company. I've really been enjoying my own time. I'm not playing guest, not playing friend. I'm just being me. And I'm working, but I'm being. And I'm enjoying my own company, which is really cool. And the things that I've been reflecting on, there have been a handful, and they're going to be, and that's why I'm going to do a compilation of what I'm reflecting on. But so far, I've been down emotionally for the last 10 days or so when I was in Phoenix and when I was in New Orleans, and I think it's a combination of a lot of things. I was finding balance in this situationship, relationship thing that I'm in, and we've been talking way less as prescribed by my therapist to spend some more time with myself, and when I removed that sense of balance from myself, it really disoriented me, and I was feeling really sad, and I was missing him. And also it's like I've been feeling really, really homesick. But I don't have a home. So what am I homesick for? Am I homesick for routine, stability, Miami, seeing the same people every week, like community, all of the above? I don't know. It's probably a mixture of everything. My dad and I have an interesting relationship, but spending some time with him was good, but it was also like emotionally a little tough and taxing on me. And I've also been putting a lot of pressure on myself to go and hook up with people and not being successful really, which I've been putting a lot of pressure on myself to do that and feeling upset about that. And also just like the amount of substances in my body, like I'm going to do a sit down study and exercise while I'm here of all of the days in the new year since I started drinking. How many days have I had a mind-altering substance in my body, alcohol or some sort of drug or whatever? Could be a mix of that. My health has been falling through the cracks. So I've been feeling emotionally pretty down since leaving Tampa. But since coming to Zion and since having some time to myself, my mood has felt lifted. I feel more like myself again. I feel more grounded. And it's only been 2 days. I love driving around in the car with my music blaring and the windows down, even though it's cold, and just enjoying my own company. I'm loving like getting a lot of work done. I'm really enjoying spending time with myself. I'm hoping that 10 days is going to be enough. And I don't know, after this, I'm going to be 10 days in Miami. And then after that, I have no idea. So, but I've had the realization that this year I wanted to focus on fun and recreation and personal growth, right? Like last year, I focused on career and health, killed it in those areas, launched a business, lost a ton of weight, just got into great shape, started making revenue for my business, got promoted at my job. And this year, I wanted to focus on fun and growth, right? And I had the realization over the last couple of days that, yeah, I've been killing it in the fun and growth area. I've been having so much fun. It's fun when you go to Mardi Gras in New Orleans and you're like, oh, this is tame. That's how you know you've been having a lot of fun. Okay, I've been having more fun than anything. I've knocked so many things off my bucket list, and I'm only 2.5 months into this journey. I've knocked so many things off my bucket list. I've met really cool people. I've done incredible things. I've seen so many parts of the world I've never seen before. I'm just having a blast. I'm having so much fun. And then I also realized I've been feeling down the last 10 days emotionally. And I'm like, why am I feeling so down? And then I realized, well, growth doesn't happen when you're wine tasting in New Zealand or when you're partying in New Orleans or when you're having fun. The growth doesn't always happen. The growth happens in these emotionally challenging moments. So it's like I want to be present with it as it comes up, be present with the really painful parts because that's where the growth happens, right? It's called growing pains for a reason. I'm still grieving. I moved away from Miami just about 3 months ago, and I'm still grieving the end of that chapter. Am I still grieving the end of my relationship? Maybe. I feel pretty over it at this point with him and I think my mom told me, or she asked me, she's like, did you prepay your grief and sadness in your relationship? I said, I think I did, because I'm not going to talk about what happened, but the last year or so, a little over a year, about a year. The last year of my relationship was very, very tough. There were about 7 months in there that were really, really tough, and then great for however many, a handful of months, and then the end was just over, basically. And then I grieved again for 2 months when everything went down beginning of November. So from beginning of November to end of December, I was also grieving a ton about my relationship. So I prepaid a lot of grief and I prepaid a lot of pain through the relationship. And I feel like pretty good about where I'm at as far as the breakup goes, but I am still grieving the end of my life and this new person I'm becoming. I'm shedding a lot of layers, and I want to be present with that because the growth happens in these painful moments, and I'm learning a lot of lessons, and I want to be present with it because it's like, what is this grief telling me? What are these sad feelings telling me? What is it teaching me about what's happening? Okay, it's talking less to my situationship makes me feel sad. So that's teaching me like I am attached to this person. Things like that. Be present with how I'm feeling and learn through the experience, surrender to the experience. So I've been sitting on that. And I've also been sitting on things I need to let go and layers I need to shed. Like I was talking to my therapist literally an hour ago, shedding this expectation and shedding this pressure I'm putting on myself to go and build a roster and hook up with people. And listen, I have a little bit of a roster going, not as developed as I wanted it to be at this stage, but it's still happening. I was putting a lot of pressure on myself to go hook up and develop the roster more and whatever. And that's, instead of just being, I was being the bee. Like I was being the bumblebee and like going to all the flowers and trying to pollinate all the flowers instead of just being the flower and letting the people come to me. So, shedding that expectation and pressure on myself to go and date and hook up. There are a couple relationships and friendships that I'm shedding right now, and expectations of people I have to be talking to or people I have to be doing or seeing or whatever. Also, I feel like I'm shedding all of these external pressures. Like right now, I'm in solitude. I have not talked to, I put my phone on airplane mode. I turn off all notifications, text notifications, call notifications. Every single notification is off on my phone. I've had to check in a little bit here and there, just like logistics planning for my next phase of the trip, but I'm doing my absolute best to wean myself off of that. But I feel like I'm shedding that layer of the external junk that comes with talking to people 24/7 constantly. Because it's hard to have your own thoughts when you're constantly in the cloud of everyone else's stuff. So that's where I've been. And this is only day 2. So I'm sure I'm going to be having a lot more revelations and a lot more many more reflections while I'm here, but we'll catch you on the next section. Bye. Hi, hello. My intuition told me to record, so that's what I'm doing right now. A lot has changed since I've recorded a little blurb here. Everything was going great. I was really enjoying my solitude. Plans felt like they were falling into place, specifically with my plans for April and my plans for my birthday, which is in early May. My birthday's on Star Wars Day, by the way, which is coming up, and that's super exciting because I launched my podcast to friends and family on my birthday last year, and we're coming up on a year of that, and 2 years of running my business, which is really cool. Last time we had a chat, everything felt like it was falling into place, and for my birthday, it really feels like it has. I was debating between Vegas and Miami because Kygo was going to be in Vegas and Rufus Tasol was going to be in Miami. And then I was looking at dates and concerts just across the country, and I saw that Kygo was actually going to be an hour north of Miami, or 30 minutes north of Miami at the Hard Rock on the 2nd of May, and then Rufus on the 3rd. So I was like, okay, obviously Miami. It's also F1 weekend. I had it written down in my manifestations for this year that I wanted to go to an F1 race too. So Miami for my birthday seems to have fallen into place perfectly. I also have a lot of friends in Miami who are going to stay in Miami because of F1. So it feels super aligned. It just feels like it all fell into place so magically. And that's how April was feeling too. April was feeling really like everything fell into place really nicely up until yesterday. So I April, I had nothing planned. I had nothing going on for April, and I really wanted to spend some time in South America. So I was looking at digital nomad retreats, and I found one for 3 weeks in Argentina. And I had a call with the program manager yesterday. There is one spot left. It happened to be like their most luxury pricing spot, which it's a pretty penny, but at the same time, and like I'm spending a good amount right now. It's a pretty penny, but I know I'm gonna make up the money later. The experience is worth it, whatever. There's one spot left, and I was gonna pay for it and put the deposit down today or tomorrow. She told me don't do anything for 24 hours. So I was like, okay, I'll sit tight. And I was looking into flights from places. I was gonna drive from Miami to Punta Gorda, surprise my mom for her birthday, drive back to Tampa, take a flight, visit my lover situation, fly from Tampa to Argentina and just spend 3 weeks there, and then probably hit like Brazil or Peru on the way back before my birthday. And all of that kind of felt like it was falling into place so nicely and just like working out really, really well. And then yesterday, and then I basically messaged my lover person asking like, hey, is it okay? Do you want to spend some, do you want some company for the first week of April before I go on my digital nomad retreat? And he told me, yeah, like this is my schedule, I'm free. And then he sent me another email saying, the only thing that's not on my schedule is that I'm going to Coachella on these dates. And I was like, what? And my whole body, it was just this wave of like heat, like just heat from my head to my toes, just like a wave of fire basically over my body. And I broke my solitude rules. I gave him a call because I wasn't sure if he was kidding or not. It was not something he was planning on doing. It was something I've been talking about for honestly since the lineup came out, to be honest with you. The lineup must have come out around right after my breakup or maybe right before my breakup. And I've talked about this before. I've talked about it on the Tampa episode I'll get into that a little bit more, but the last time Lady Gaga joined the lineup, I'm going to tell the full Coachella story at some time, but basically when last time Lady Gaga joined the lineup, everything in my body told me to go. It was like it was the strongest feeling of intuition I've ever felt in my life. Everything in my body told me to go, and I quit my job and I went, and it was the best decision I've ever made in my life. And I ended up, whole story, and I will tell it at some point. And when Gaga joined the lineup this year, I said, this is a sign from the universe. And I've been saying that for months. I've been saying it for months, but I just put it off. I didn't think I was going to end up going, but I was like, oh, maybe I'll go, blah, blah, blah. Like, I didn't really I wasn't really planning on going. It just pushed it back in my mind. But now that this person's going and they can get me a ticket and I have somewhere to stay, it just feels, wow, this opportunity is right in front of me. I've been saying for months that this is a sign from the universe, but then not listening to it. I guess the sign has resurfaced from the universe, and I want to listen to that sign. And I was feeling, when I got on the call for 20 minutes to just confirm that he was not kidding, I was feeling so overwhelmed and so stressed out because I'm like, I felt like my plans had already fallen into place. I thought everything was already worked out. All I had to do was put the deposit down and book the flights and it was done. But then all of a sudden, this new opportunity has come up and it's a sign from the universe. And I was just feeling overwhelmed. Oh my God, what am I going to do? And the idea of Coachella isn't overwhelming to me, but it's the figuring out what I'm going to do between the end of March and Coachella, like those 2-3 weeks. What am I going to do? That's the part that's really, really overwhelming to me. And listen, I know, guys, woe is me, right? What a difficult challenge to have. Like, you're deciding between going on a digital nomad retreat in Argentina for 3 weeks or going to Coachella. Okay, I understand that this is like first world problems. These are amazing issues to have, to not know what I want to do and to make that decision. And I want to tap into my, I think this is a really excellent, I think this is a really excellent practice in tapping into my intuition here and listening to the signs of the universe as well. Because, listen, I've been saying for months, oh, Gaga joining the lineup at Coachella is a sign from the universe. And I just kind of been putting it off, putting it off, putting it off. And now it's in my face again. And to put matters on top of that, last night I was up late editing social media content for all the podcasts coming out, basically up until the dates of Coachella, funny enough. And I was editing the Tampa episode. There's a lot of important nuggets of wisdom in that episode. There's a lot of content to pull from that episode. And my computer automatically pulled the little snippet where I'm like talking about the sign of going to Coachella. And I'm like, Gaga joined the lineup. I was talking about my first experience going to Coachella. And I was like, this is a sign from the universe. Am I going to go? I don't know. And then it was a strike through of, I was thinking about going to South America and that window is closing. And I was like, wow. And I didn't think that was a sign up until this morning. I thought that was funny last night, but this morning I'm like, wow, that's also a sign. Like, these are signs from the universe. Go to Coachella. And that seems super exciting to me. And I went out to dinner last night with a couple of girlfriends that I just met on Monday. And I was telling them about this because I just got the news right before I went for dinner. And they're like, we don't know if she's ever going to join the lineup again. This may never happen again. She's like, you can go to Argentina anytime. You can do a digital nomad retreat anywhere, anytime. But this only happens once. And I'm like, true. And honestly, the thoughts have not left my head about Coachella. I can't stop thinking about it. I sat in meditation this morning and could not stop thinking about it. I woke up this morning at 5 o'clock in the morning thinking about it. And I kept saying, okay, go into monk mode, meditate on it, sit on it, and the answer will come to me. And it truly does feel like the right thing. But the thing that feels really overwhelming is, what the fuck am I going to do before then and after then? I don't know what I'm going to do between going to Coachella and my birthday, right? There are like 2 weeks there. I have no clue what I'm going to do. And maybe that's like me trying to leave space. Maybe that's me leaving space for magic. But knowing what I'm doing before Coachella is a little bit more time restrictive, because that's in 3 weeks. Not even, actually. That's in 2.5 weeks. What the fuck am I going to do? And I have been feeling really, really overwhelmed about it. I feel really called to Brazil. I don't know. I know one person there, and I messaged her this morning, seeing if she's available or around. And we'll see. We'll find out, I guess. But I was feeling really overwhelmed. I like laid down on my bed and I told the universe, hey, universe, like, I hear your signs. I hear you. I trust you. Please help me see the plan clearly and help everything fall into place. Because when there are signs like this from the universe, and when you make decisions based on your true intuition, everything like lines up perfectly and falls into place magically, right? And there are so many examples of that, right? And for me, like the first example is the Coachella, and I'll tell that story in depth soon. But everything fell into place for me to go to that thing. And also, the other great example I have of that is Fiji. 2 weeks before my Fiji trip, everything in my body told me to go. And I booked it, and everything fell into place. Like the magic of the universe fell into place perfectly for me to go. There was one spot left on the resort, not even the last room, the last bed. The last bed at the resort was mine. I ended up meeting my roommate, and the whole thing was just magic. It was pure magic, and everything fell into place exactly the way it needed to. And just there were so many synchronicities that happened like that. And I see Coachella happening that way, but I'd love to see the synchronicities of what's happening before. And I just don't know. And I've been feeling really stressed out and worried. And it's like, I need to step back, trust the universe, and be like, if this is a sign from the universe to go to Coachella and I'm meant to do something else before, okay, like I trust you. I trust this. And just let it happen. And it is really interesting when I heard about this opportunity to go to Coachella. The things that made me feel really overwhelmed were, number one, I felt like all my plans fell into place. Now they're all over the place. What am I going to do? Oh my God, what am I going to do beforehand? Feeling really stressed out about that. But then my next immediate thought was, oh my God, my best friend and my therapist are going to judge the fuck out of me. And here's the thing about that. First of all, I want to notice the fact that that thought is coming up. I want to recognize the fact that that thought is coming up. Where why would I make decisions based on how my best friend and my therapist are going to judge me? That's not it. That's not okay. And I feel like with this whole situation with my situationship with Dr. Leprechaun, I've been feeling so much, and I would be going to Coachella with him, right? I feel so much judgment from loved ones and from my therapist about it. Mainly because I said at the beginning of this year, I want to take a year. I want to be single. I need to be by myself. I don't know what it's like to be on my own. And then I fell into this situationship. Literally, we started talking 2 days after my official split. And I think like a month and a half later, he came and hung out with me across the world. And we've been like chatting and saw him again in Salt Lake, went to Tampa to visit, all of this. And I feel a lot of judgment from my loved ones around it and it's not about him, because he's an amazing person and they don't know, no one knows him. It's not about him. It's about, well, your intention was to be single. And like, guys, technically I am single, okay? I just haven't been putting myself out there a ton. Like, obviously there was Mr. Melbourne and Scottish guy and whatever. But I don't have a roster. And my therapist told me to let go of the expectation for me to go and hook up with somebody and the pressure on myself to go hook up with somebody. And my thing is, if loving this person, if loving Dr. Leprechaun feels good, why stop doing it? If being in it feels good, like, why stop? And right now, I'm so glad I'm in solitude on my period, because that's when you're closest to your true nature. And it feels good to have him in my life. And so I'm going to continue to do that. And Coachella feels good and magic. So I'm going to do that. I don't know what I'm going to do before, and I don't know what I'm going to do after, but I have to sit back and trust the universe to let everything fall into place exactly the way it's supposed to. And that's really challenging and really difficult, especially when I feel like I'm on a time crunch. But I want to recognize the fact that my initial thought is, oh my God, these people are going to judge me for spending more time with this guy. Don't make decisions based on how other people are perceiving your life. This is my life, and I'm going to do whatever the hell I want. And the fact that that's coming up for me is like a really impactful mirror to see where my thoughts are and where my realities are. And here's the other thing about being in solitude is, when this whole opportunity with Coachella came up, my knee-jerk reaction was to, oh my God, I should call my mom. Or, oh my God, I should call my friends and talk about it. And basically gather all of these outside perspectives about what I should do. But that's how I got into this in the first place. Not this, but that's how I got into this judgment zone in the first place, is so worried about how other people are going to perceive my actions. And obviously, if I'm going to all these external sources for advice or for counsel constantly, I can't hear my own thoughts. And of course, I'm going to be impacted by the judgment of others, because that's like my knee-jerk reaction, is to go to others to help me make a decision that's completely mine. So I think it's good that I'm in solitude. I don't think it's a coincidence that this opportunity is coming up while I'm in solitude. I don't think it's a coincidence that all of this is happening right now. I do think it's a sign from the universe, and I've been saying that for months, and I literally got proof of it last night. So fuck it. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go to fucking Coachella. Okay. And when I'm there, I think I'm gonna tell the full Coachella story, which I've been hinting at it. I've been talking about it. It's something I brought up a lot, but I'm gonna tell the full in-depth story when I'm there. My deepest secrets and all. So yeah. In the meantime, I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do before and what I'm gonna do after. And that's okay. I just gotta trust the universe, sit back, listen, and feel like I'm learning a really valuable lesson of, okay, I need to listen to my own intuition, to my own thoughts, and not be taking in all of these external perspectives all the time, because it's clouding my own judgment. And I'm so worried about how other people are perceiving my life that I'm not living it myself and not making decisions that are completely aligned with what feels right for me. I'm just doing it based on what other people are doing. Or maybe I'm just taking in that feedback and it's just clouding my judgment. I don't know. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. And I don't know why. Listen, I was sitting and working, and my intuition just kept telling me, like, pick up the mic, record for the podcast, say something, talk about what's happening right now. And that's what I did. And processing through this verbally is really helpful, honestly. It's like a video journal. People have been asking me, like, oh, are you journaling during this time? And I'm like, not really, but I am talking into a mic. And I don't know how much I cut out of every episode. I basically just freeball it. And then on the editing, on the back end, I cut out whatever is necessary or do any editing that's necessary. So this is just every time I sit down and do a solo session, I don't have notes. I just go off of what I'm feeling, which is really funny that I can sit here and freeball for 20 minutes, okay? So that's where my head's at right now. I think today I'm just gonna chill. I'm just gonna enjoy my Friday, work, wrap up what I have to work on. I've been working like a crazy person. My therapist was like, are you sure you're not treating this trip like a workaholic retreat? Which I didn't realize I was a workaholic, but I'm reminding myself of my ex a little bit, because I'm working from 7 a.m. I worked yesterday from 7 a.m. until 11 p.m. last night, and I think I took a 2-hour break. That's pretty insane, guys. That's so crazy. Maybe I think a 2-hour break. I took a 2-hour break yesterday, and I worked from 7 a.m. until 11 p.m. Wow. Wow. But you know what? It feels good. It feels good to work on my business, and I'm loving it. And I was trying to front load all my work so I can just enjoy my weekend and have my time to myself and things like that. But yeah, my intuition told me to sit down and record. And honestly, I feel a lot more at peace now. Dear universe, if you're there, I hear you. I hear what you're saying. Please help me see the rest of the plan clearly, and I will follow it. I will surrender to the experience. That is the mantra of this year. Surrender to the experience. I don't know if we'll chat more while I'm on this solitude trip. Maybe, maybe not, but that's where I'm at right now. I leave tomorrow. I've just spent 10 days in solitude right outside of Zion National Park, and I feel really grounded. I feel really centered. It's felt really good to spend time with myself and to develop the relationship I have with myself and nourish that. I'm not playing guest, I'm not playing friend, I'm just being me. What my days have looked like. So I've been getting up really pretty early because I'm a couple hours behind. So I've been working for my 9 to 5 from 7 to 3, which is obviously 9 to 5, a few hours behind. The only promise I made to myself was that I was going to leave my little hut. This is my little hut. I was going to leave my hut and leave the campgrounds once a day. So after I sign off work, I've been going and hiking and exploring really cool national parks all around. And I've been coming back and spending time with myself in the evening. The first handful of days, I was working like crazy, and I still am working like crazy. I'd come back and work on my podcast and work on admin stuff and the next phase of my travels. And I would do that till 10 or 11 p.m. And I always made time for some sort of solitude, if that's like reflection or reading or whatever that looked like. And that's how I spent my days for the most part. But I got so much work done that these last couple of days have been slower. I took the weekend. Obviously, I wasn't working for my 9 to 5 on the weekend. So I spent one day going over to Bryce Canyon and one day over hiking all day in Zion National Park. And yeah, that's what I've been up to these last few days. Funny enough, I'm like here, it's this little hut on this deck, and there's a shared bathroom that's 50 feet away or something. And in the middle of the night, I'm just too lazy to go walk over to the bathroom. So I've just been squatting over the deck with my ass like above the grass and peeing. And then I told my therapist about that this morning, and that natural instinct was actually right because you're marking your territory for all of the wildlife out there. So, okay, I guess that's what I was doing. I have not really spoken to anybody except work meetings and my therapist. I broke the rule once or twice to get on logistics calls for Coachella, which I decided I was going to. You guys just watch that. And I'm really excited. I'm going to Brazil for 2.5 weeks before I go to Coachella. I've been feeling really called to Brazil. I don't know why. I know I wanted to spend time in South America, and it's not quite, obviously, like, it's such a huge continent, right? There's so much to see, but I've been feeling really called to Brazil. So I'll be there for 2.5 weeks before I go to Coachella. After Coachella, I don't really know where I'm going to be. I might just hang out around Southern California for a bit before popping back over to Miami for my birthday. I think it's funny that I'm going to Miami. I left Miami. I left my life there, but I'm going back once I leave tomorrow. I'm going there for 10 days and then again for my birthday. I'm really curious to see how it's going to be going back and seeing my life and re-immersing myself in my life and my community. Does it still feel like home? Do I miss it? I'm really curious to what that experience is going to be like. Am I nervous about running into my ex? Yes, I am. Fingers crossed I don't end up doing that because that's just messy for everybody. And it's only been, I believe, today or yesterday is 4 months since we've broken up officially. I feel over the breakup already, but I have been thinking about him on this trip, and I know he's hurting. I did a little bit of internet sleuthing online and found some evidence that he's hurting, and memories come up with him, and I'm really happy that I can look back on those memories and smile, and I don't feel sad about our time ending because our time together was really beautiful. Like, we had a really, really beautiful relationship, and I think a part of me is always going to love him. I look back on our relationship and I feel nothing but warmth and love and gratitude for it. And I think that's a really great and healthy place to be in, and I feel really happy about that. But yeah, since being in solitude, I've been feeling really grounded. I believe that growth happens when you push yourself outside of your comfort zone, and spending 10 days alone, I turned off all notifications on texts, calls, everything. That is the fullest outside of my comfort zone I think I've been in a long time. And I thought I was going to have some sort of come to Jesus moment and some sort of revelation about life. And I have had a lot of lessons and a lot of downloads, but nothing and maybe I have and I just haven't realized it yet, right? But nothing insane. I did have a realization, I spent an hour going back and answering everybody last week, mainly because there were some friends that were very worried about literally concerned that I was alive, if I was alive or not. So I went and took an hour and replied to everybody just saying, thanks for checking in on me. And there were hundreds of messages. And I'm like, do I really keep up with this many people this consistently? It's exhausting. How do I hear my own thoughts when I'm constantly being infiltrated by all this cloud of everyone else's perception around me, right? In general, I've just been feeling really good. And I was talking to my therapist this morning and he said, don't, because I'm going from this end of the pendulum, the complete solitude, no substances, completely sober for 10 days, to the extreme opposite. I'm going to Miami for a spring break event with Call Her Daddy and Unwell and all of that. And then it's also Miami Music Week. So I'm going from one extreme to the other. Again, my therapist says I'm waving at balance, running between one extreme and the other. So he said, take what you've learned in Zion with you, which is take time to be quiet, take time to be still, take time to just be, actually. Another thing I've been doing constantly is I have been meditating daily, which has been feeling really good. And I've been really enjoying that as well, like getting back into my meditation practice. This is the most consistent I've been with it in a really long time. And that's been feeling really good as well. And I've been reading The Untethered Soul, which has been great. I've been playing the We're Not Really Strangers self-love podcast. I've been spending a lot of time so focused on the external, specifically with my relationships. I've been so focused on how people are perceiving me externally as opposed to deepening my own relationship with myself and spending time with myself. And instead of, yes, it's important to go and nurture your relationships, right? But like in the same way that I would go and nurture a friendship, what am I doing to nurture my relationship with myself? What does that look like? On this trip, honestly, it's been looking like taking a lot of joy rides in a car. I didn't realize how much I missed driving. Today, I didn't have any hikes or anything planned. I just literally got out on the road and drove for an hour and blasted fucking Lady Gaga. That's all I did. And this is not the only time I've done that. I think there was another day last week where I had nothing to do and I just went out and went for a drive for an hour and just played my music really loud and just sang along, and it just feels good. It just feels really, really good. In the same way I go and nurture and take active work to maintain my relationships with my friends and my family and my romantic endeavors, I want to take that same energy, time, and effort into nurturing my relationship with myself and taking time to be still, if that's like daily, weekly, whatever that is. That's something I want to maintain and keep up when I leave. Been reading the Untethered Soul, and it's actually interesting. I feel like I have been doing this, I think, with my meditation practice and with my constant study of personal development. I think I've been studying personal development and psychology for must be like 13 years now. I've been in the personal development world for 13 years at this point, and realizing that when these painful experiences come up, I'm very proud of how I handle them. I see them like, oh, there's a part of me that feels this and there's a part of me that feels that, and I do my best to be present with that pain. I think the missing step for me is I tend to jump to over analyzing where that pain comes from instead of feeling it at all. So allowing myself to feel. To be honest with you, I have not really had a good cry since I've been here, surprisingly. There have been a couple tears here and there, but no bawling and curling into a ball and crying for an hour. There's been none of that. Honestly, I've just been enjoying myself for the most part. And there are waves of sadness. I think that just is a part of life and a part of grief, is there are waves of these sad things, and that's just a normal part of life. Like emotions come up, right? I've also been noticing my inner thought patterns. If I'm getting stuck in a thought loop, I've been able to zoom out and be like, okay, that's the mind having a thought train, a thought spiral, whatever. Cool. And sometimes it's been happening a lot of my drives, it's been happening a lot of my hikes, and I have been able to stop, zoom out, be like, okay, that's the mind, that's the mind having thought spirals. How can I bring myself back to the present moment and like fully soak in what I'm experiencing right now? How can I be present right now? Like, I'm in one of the most beautiful places in the world. Okay. I've seen Zion National Park is gorgeous. Bryce Canyon is gorgeous. All of these places are stunning. Just driving around these mountains and trees and rocks and nature. It's so beautiful. And I had to remind myself I'm getting in these thought patterns and bring yourself back to the moment, be present, because this is beautiful. Take it in, soak it in. And how can I bring this practice into my life? Just be present with it all. Be present with the pain, be present with the joy, be present in the moment constantly instead of worrying about what's next. And listen, worrying about what's next is a part of this process. Like, I have to plan for Burning Man, guys, and I've been putting it off. And I'm a planner, okay? I'm a planner, and I've been putting off getting started on my Burning Man planning. I don't know why. I think I just feel like a little. I've been feeling overwhelmed by all of that because I'm I don't know. I've never driven an RV. Like it's different. It's a festival, right? But you're preparing to survive. You're not preparing to camp. So, and I'm also going by myself. I don't know anyone else going. So, I think this is the first time I've ever gone to a festival. No, I've been to Coachella by myself, but this is the first time I've ever experienced something like this completely alone with no one else to lean on as of right now. I don't know if someone else is going to join me later. I have no clue. But that's daunting as well, and just getting into it. If there were any takeaways from this time, it's definitely spend time in stillness, and spend time in stillness, actively spend energy and effort nurturing a relationship with yourself. Be present with everything that this life has to offer, the current moment, every emotion on the spectrum and every emotion on the scale, and love them all and be present with them all, because this is the human experience, right? We're literally like meat suits on a big floating rock, okay? So just be present with the experience, because this is life and it's beautiful, and the whole spectrum of emotions, the whole spectrum of experiences are beautiful. Just be present with it. And yeah, and make space for that stillness. I think we spend so much time doing that we don't just stop and learn how to just be. Like, learn how to just be, like, just feel the sunshine on your face and just enjoy it. So anyway, I'm just gonna sit here and be a little bit more. And then I'm gonna enjoy my last night of solitude. Might work a little bit more, maybe get started on the Burning Man situation and pack up, all that, eat the last of my snacks. Guys, that's the one thing. I didn't finish all my snacks, and I won't, and I'm hungry. I'm tired of granola bars and peanut butter and bananas, and yeah, yesterday I had a sandwich. It wasn't that good. I'm excited to have a real meal. Another real meal, basically. I've just been living off of snacks for the last 10 days, basically. I think I've had, other than snacks, I think I've eaten 3 like actual meals in the last 10 days. The rest of the time has been snacks. It's not like I'm not eating, guys. I'm eating. Okay? It's just like I'm eating snacks whenever I'm hungry, like a granola bar or like a jerky or a fruit or vegetable, something in peanut butter or whatever. But I think I've had 3 meals on this whole thing. Like 3 not snack meals. Unrelated. Yeah, so that's all I got, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode of my reflections during my time in solitude. I hope it gave you some perspective as well. For me, it's been really beautiful. I've been honestly going and stalking my own content, and both on social media and also in my photos, because it's like really cool to go and watch. It's like going back and reading an old journal. Like, I went back and listened to the episode where I left my apartment, and I'm like, wow, so much has changed since then. It's really cool to go back and have a documentation of my life and a documentation of what I'm doing. Also record stuff. Like, record your experiences, record the hardships, the challenges, all of that. That's another thing I want to take away from this as well. So anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed my solitude reflections. I hope you had some sort of takeaway, breakthrough, whatever. And if not for you, this is for me. So we'll catch you guys next week on the Visualize Meditations podcast. Bye. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Visualize Meditations podcast. Please follow, subscribe, leave a review, all of the good things. If you want to connect more, you can find me on TikTok and Instagram at Living Your Vision. So what are you waiting for? Get out there, create the life of your dreams, and we will see you next week.